Hello everyone, Namaskaram. Welcome to my channel, VPK Nutrition, Mind Body Healing with Pushpa. I haven't shared in a long time, so today I'm going to be talking about depression, which is becoming a major health epidemic, mental illness at about 10% to 15% of the population in the Western world, and it's also affecting a lot of people globally. So again, we all go through some sort of a depressive mood, like having sadness, loneliness, hopelessness sometimes, things like that, once in a while, not all the time. However, when this becomes a habit, it becomes part of your life on a chronic, like a chronic condition, then it starts to affect our work, our relationships, school, and our general performance every day. So it's important to understand what this depression is and how it manifests in our body according to our body type. So I'll be talking about some Ayurvedic perspective of depression, also share some diet and lifestyle modalities that you can use to heal yourself. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. First of all, I want to thank all my viewers who've been watching regularly and giving me feedback. For those who haven't already done so, please consider subscribing. Again, I'd like to see some comments because that'll help me prepare for future episodes. And if you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment about it, and also share with your friends and family. So let's get started with today's episode. So nowadays, in my own practice, I'm seeing a lot of 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds who are reaching out to me for diet advice, which is great. But when you really delve deeper, we notice it's a lot of depression and anxiety among the young people today. And this is because not just their diet, which is not always healthy because they don't have the time, but the other thing is their lifestyle. Now, the lifestyle plays a huge role in all diseases in the body and also in the mind. So there's a lot of stress going on. They're exposed to too many things on social media as well. And a lot of people have lack sleep because of the hours that they work. And again, there are a lot of demands on their work. Now, whether it is they brought it on themselves or they just had necessity brought it onto themselves, people are dealing with a lot more than we ever did in the old days. So again, first thing is to recognize what is your strength, what is your capacity, and only take on what is really possible for you and still have some peace in your mind. That is the number one. And the second step is, of course, when you do recognize it, which is great because a lot of these young people who come to me do recognize that they need to do something in order to fix their life, which is wonderful. At the same time, it's important to give more emphasis to the diet and lifestyle because ultimately, how you live day to day is so much more important than what you actually achieve in life. So we all want that mental peace and happiness. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I will talk about depression from an Ayurvedic perspective, how it affects each body type and how we overextend ourselves and what are some diet and lifestyle suggestions that you can follow right now. Now, according to Ayurveda, depression stems from a lack of prana or low pranic energy in the body, especially in the mental level or in the psychological level. And it also has to do with low ojas, which is also the immunity in the body, which we need to keep ourselves healthy and protected from any influences from the outside as well. So again, so it's low prana and low ojas are typically what is seen in a person with depression. Now, the depression in Ayurveda is also classified into 3 different types based on the doshas. Now, again, you can have more than one doshic imbalance, so causing different kinds of symptoms. So let's examine one by one. The Vata type depression is usually because of extreme exhaustion, fatigue. You talk about the adrenal fatigue. They do so much at work and get so overwhelmed that at some point you just say, oh my God, I can't get out of bed anymore. I'm just so exhausted. I can't do this anymore. And this leads to depression. Again, the inability to move even sometimes. And also just you lose all the enthusiasm and energy to do anything, and you kind of just your brain becomes very foggy. You're not able to make any decisions, and then this becomes very debilitating for your day-to-day life. And a lot of times when this happens, that also leads to anxiety, which becomes a comorbidity. The second type, which is the Pitta type of depression, again, Pittas are not as prone to depression as much as Vatas and Pittas, the Kaphas, because Pittas are generally very driven. They're the type A personality. They have the passion for life. They have the enthusiasm to do a lot of things. So they can push through a lot of things. The only problem happens is when they push through so much that the Vata also get imbalanced, which pushes Pitta even more, and then the intensity becomes too much, and they are high achievers, so they're perfectionists, so they expect too much out of themselves and others, and so this again leads to a lot of depression. So they forget to eat, and this leads to anger, irritability. So it manifests as anger and irritability. So because they're so driven and angry and irritable, people don't think they're depressed, but really speaking, that is a manifestation of depression in the Pitta types. Then the other thing too is when they're hurt by somebody or whatever, they actually hold on to a lot of those things, and these cause ruminating thoughts in the mind, and this keeps looping through the mind and causes further anxiety and depression in Pitta types. The third type, the Kapha type. The Kapha type are generally the ones we think of as the chronic depression. Now, the Vata types, you talk about it as a major depressive disorder in modern medicine, is associated with the Vata types. The Kapha type is more of the chronic depression, the underlying depression that they have, the feeling of sadness, loneliness. And remember, Kaphas love to attach to people, so they get very lonely because of that attachment. They feel like nobody loves me. This kind of depression is usually related to Kapha. It is also because of their sluggishness, their sluggish digestion, the inertia to move, and also not being able to be motivated easily on their own. They don't have a lot of enthusiasm to do things, so they're not motivated enough because they don't move enough, and sometimes a lot of them are overweight. They end up binge eating and all of that to make up for this depression, and then it's just like a vicious cycle which never changes. So these are the three types. So there are different things that you can do with diet and lifestyle for each of these types, and I would suggest different things for different people. Now, like I said before, you could be a combination of 2 or 3, so we have to pay attention to the symptoms as well when you try to make these changes. So before I go into the diet and lifestyle suggestions for each of the body types, I would like to mention what the modern medicine recommends. So they have 3 modalities. One is giving antidepressants, and then the second one is having a therapist or a counselor to talk to and go talk therapy. And of course, the third one is support groups. Now, when you look at these 3 modalities, antidepressants may be helpful, especially for a Vata person who's all over the place, very erratic. They may need something to initiate that grounding at first before they start working on diet and lifestyle. So they could benefit from that. Again, we're not talking about long-term being on pills for the rest of your life, but maybe just to jumpstart the process. Now, Pitta types, again, may be okay with the medications initially, but the same thing, they may not need medications, but they might actually benefit more from the talk therapy because they're more logical in their mind. So they probably would benefit from just analyzing things more and understanding themselves, and somebody else, an objective person, could help them bring them out of their own mind with the ruminating thoughts, and then kind of have them think in a different way. And of course, a support group is actually very beneficial for a Kapha person because they're more people-oriented. So having that camaraderie and the support actually gives them more, makes them feel more loved and cared for. And so that would be helpful. And of course, talk therapy as well. Now, as far as medications, we don't know, everybody reacts differently. So the medications might make them even duller at some times. So again, it is all about the individual person. Of course, this is not medical advice. This is more about talk to your provider and let them give you the proper advice that you need. But these are some things to just think about, just so that you can observe your own body and your mind and figure out what would work for you and what will not work for you. Now let's talk about diet and lifestyle changes that Ayurveda recommends. Again, remember, Ayurveda is always about fixing the root of the problem. So we don't want to be accepting, okay, I'm always going to be depressed, but we want to get this out because that's not our normal state. Our normal state is to be happy, joyful, energetic, and be productive in our life. So you feel good and peaceful inside. And this is what everybody wants. So even if you take these other modalities that I just talked about, we want to still take some responsibility for our own minds. So that is what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to go through each one of them one by one. Again, each dosha benefits from different things. All of them benefit from a proper diet, but again, even that diet is different for each of the doshas. So let's see them one by one. Diet and lifestyle tips for Vata type of depression. Number one, most important, is have a daily routine according to the dosha clock for food, activities, exercise, etc. I will share the link in the description for more details about that. Number two, make sure you enjoy time in nature to get that beautiful prana from the nature around us, from the trees and the plants. Number three, make sure your work habits are more regimented and you take some breaks in between to take a breath, and also do not overcommit yourself so you're not overwhelmed. Number four, do not skip meals because that will imbalance your vata, but eat freshly cooked digestible foods with whole grains and sweet and root vegetables like carrots, sweet potatoes, yams, etc., and ojas increasing foods like warm milk. Stress management, very important. Yoga, pranayama, meditation, and oil massage will help with that. And having a great sleep routine, turning off the gadgets half hour before bedtime and sleep by 11 the latest. Diet and lifestyle tips for Pitta type of depression. Number one, again, very intense Pitta should take breaks in between so that they don't get angry and frustrated. Number two, practice compassion and forgiveness for yourself as well as for others. Number three, learn to let go of your past hurts and emotions and surrender to a higher altar through prayers or mantra chanting. So these will replace some of the negative thoughts and replace it with positive vibrations. Number four, again, do not skip meals while working. Again, that hangry is associated with pitta, so that could cause further imbalance. So eat more cooling foods, drink fruit juices, and avoid too much spicy food, and keep hydrated and avoid alcohol. Number five, Shitali and Chitkari pranayama are all very cooling for the body. So try to practice some of these things on a regular basis. Diet and lifestyle tips for the Kapha type of depression. First of all, start your day with exercise or some kind of activity because that will get rid of the inertia that you feel, and also get some fresh air by going outside and increasing your prana. Number two, if you do yoga, sun salutation is wonderful, and also breathing exercises like Bastrika and Kapalabhati help to increase the energy in the body and keep you motivated. Number three, since starting is a big problem, make sure you do a to-do list in the morning just to keep you motivated for the day, and completing these tasks will give you a sense of satisfaction. Number four, foods eaten should be very light with more vegetables, bitter vegetables, and green leafy vegetables like spinach, and also radishes, peppers, onions with a pungent. Some smaller grains like millets, quinoa, etc. with portion control, and spices to increase digestion and stimulation. Avoid heavy foods like cheeses, smoothies, dairy products, yogurt, etc. Number five, keep in touch with your family and friends that are positive in your life to keep you motivated. And usually Kaphas have a tendency to be reclusive when they're feeling depressed, so that is not a good idea. And of course, getting a therapist can be really, really helpful for somebody like this, and also finding a support group which gives you that connection with people. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Remember, depression can become very debilitating in your life if you start accepting the notion that I am depressed. So you want to change that mindset first of all. The second thing is put some distance between yourself and the thoughts. Now, if the mind is always controlling you and your thoughts are controlling your behavior and your actions in your life, you're always going to be slave to your mind. Even Bhagavad Gita says that if the mind can be your friend or your foe. So you want a mind to be your friend and help you along the way, not put you in the wrong direction. So for this, you need to create some kind of distance between your thoughts in the mind and yourself. So you can do this by just sitting quietly for a few minutes every day, watch your thoughts, mindfulness meditation, and see where they are guiding you. Are there a lot of negative thoughts? Are there positive thoughts? And if you see a lot of negative thoughts, that means subconsciously this is what is guiding all of your actions every day and causing problems for you. So you can always practice some positive affirmations. Again, every time you slow down and put that barrier in between your mind and yourself, you will actually be able to operate from a place of better understanding. So try this every day. Again, after you've recognized what is driving you, it's so much easier to follow some of the tips that I shared today. Listen to your body, observe your mind, and help yourself. So again, try all of these this week and have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you next week.